Good evening, I'm Jacob Reimer. Monday Night Football concludes Week 8 in the NFL with the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Washington Commanders with kickoff tonight at 8:15. You can catch the action here on the Fan at 8 o'clock. Some injury updates for both the Browns and Bengals. Kevin Stefanski announced today that Quinshon Judkins is day-to-day with a shoulder injury that caused him to leave Sunday's game at New England. And Zach Taylor has announced Joe Flacco is day-to-day, also with a shoulder injury. The Browns will be on their bye this week while the Bengals host the Bears this Sunday. In the NBA, the Cavs go for their third straight win as they visit the Detroit Pistons. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. In baseball, Game 3 of the World Series is tonight with the Dodgers and Blue Jays tied at 1 game apiece. Max Scherzer will throw for Toronto against Tyler Glasnow for Los Angeles. First pitch is at 8. And in the MLS Cup playoffs, the Crew take on Cincinnati FC as they begin a best-of-3 series tonight. Kickoff is at 6:45. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
From Learfield, this is the Buckeye Roundtable Show presented by Burger King and brought to you statewide by the American Dairy Association Mideast and Cova Insurance, Window Nation, and by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with former OSU All-American Jim Lachey and the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, here's your host, Skip Mossick.
And hi again, everybody. Welcome into another Buckeye Roundtable show as we get you set for Ohio State's stretch run in November, beginning with Penn State this week. 2 hours of Ohio State and college football conversation with former OSU All-American, NFL All-Pro Jim Lachey. How are you?
Good. Let's get 6 victories on that stretch run.
Hall of Fame broadcaster, long-time voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
After travel to 2 away games, nice to have a home one.
Coach Ryan Day will join us later this hour. The Buckeyes again host Penn State on Saturday. No doubt, fellas, this matchup lost a little bit of luster with the Lions skid, but tell us a reason why Penn State can still be a dangerous opponent for Ohio State.
Because this can make their season. With all the difficulty they've gone through, losing their head coach, losing their starting quarterback, and probably really nobody having any faith in them, this could make their season. They could come in here and knock off number 1 in the country.
Yeah, and you got our former defensive coordinator coordinating them, so there's some familiarity with it. And, they got a running game. They can run the football. We've seen that now. Last year, I thought we did a good job stopping that running game. That's going to have to improve again this year. And we got to start faster than we did last year. We're down 10-0, so that's something we're going to do on the road.
The last couple of years, this matchup, Jim brought up defense, has been a real defensive showdown. Do you see that continuing, or more of an offensive game like we saw here in 22? There were 75 points scored in the 22 game.
Yeah, well, Penn State's had trouble stopping the run, and Ohio State certainly wants to punch up the run. So you kind of guess that this could be one of those games where you could see a Woody Hayes type of 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but also to kind of hang on to the ball and keep their, even though their offense isn't as dangerous as maybe you would have thought had they not lost their quarterback. But that could be the interesting matchup. Ohio State attempting to get that running game in high gear against a team that, at least against Iowa, had trouble stopping the run.
Yeah, that would be nice to get that running game. But, also when you see how hot our passing game is, especially to get the game started, I don't mind running a little bit more in the second half to kill the clock. But if you have the personnel, and Ohio State does right now, you want to throw that football early and often. Get those playmakers into the end zone, and once you get a lead, then you can work on the run game.
5 games remain in the regular season, coming off their second bye. I know they're the number 1 team in the country, but what are the biggest areas of improvement you'd like to see from this team during the stretch run?
Well, that would be, like we talked about, running it at a higher level, getting more explosive plays running the football. We've seen that happen with the passing game, but also it would be nice to see a few more turnovers, and maybe there's only 1 defensive score this year. So, maybe another pick 6 or a fumble recovery, a scoop and score, something like that would be a great thing to see this defense continue to really ratchet things up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching Julian Sain continue to improve, because each and every game he's gone out there, and then identifying who's going to be our running back, during this stretch run. Who's going to show up when we need him in these games at the end of the year? Is it going to be Bo Jackson, C.J. Donaldson? James People seems to be at the end of that, and then we got Isaiah West starting to show up. So there's some question marks there, and they might want to solidify that position.
Tonight's Buckeye Roundtable broadcast, as well as all of our roundtables throughout the season, are available on our flagship station's YouTube page. Simply search WBNS Radio on YouTube. You can watch it live or later if you miss any part of it. You can also download the Buckeye Roundtable podcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to subscribe to both. Fans, you can win a catered party for up to 20 people at your home for an away game this season, plus a behind-the-scenes tour of Ohio Stadium for 10. The Giant Eagle Tailgates and Tour Sweepstakes is presented by Pop-Tarts, Rice Krispie Treats, and Coca-Cola. Register today at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/tailgates for your chance to win. Saturday, Ohio State hosts Penn State. We'll be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 10:30 a.m. Up next, our 60-second timeout as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Ohio State fans. Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Hear every Buckeye game every year. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everyone, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey, Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Join partners American Electric Power, Donato's, Kroger, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS-TV in Columbus in supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/BuckeyesCare.
Buckeye Roundtable, 60-second timeout.
All right, fellas, let's start with this. Penn State has lost 4 straight. All were one-score games, the last 2 by a single point. I know they lost their starting quarterback, but if you had to point to one thing that's been holding them back, what would it be?
The same thing that caused them to lose in the semifinals of the college football playoff last year. Lack of big-time production from wide receivers, something that they were known for a while. Remember that playoff loss to Notre Dame, not a single wideout caught a pass. And they've got transfers that came in to try and cure that, but they just have not been able to get the explosive plays downfield from receivers that we've seen them have in the past.
Yeah, the receivers are, 5'10-ish, so not the real tall receivers that you see, especially when you look at Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. And they just haven't been able to, like you said, Paul, take the top off to get teams away from loading up the box and stopping a run because, sooner or later, you got to stop those two guys, Allen and Singleton. And, depending on what quarterback they end, and Smolik likes to run the ball too when he's in there. So they have a rushing attack, but they just haven't been able to get the ball down the field. And, that's not just Ethan Grunkenmeyer's issue. That happened with Drew Rowler too.
The 4 losses by a combined 13 points. Wow. So it's not like they're playing horribly, but the bottom line is they're still 0-4 in the Big Ten.
Well, how many times have we heard coaches, Skip, talk about don't let one loss turn into a second? Well, that's what happened after Oregon going to UCLA right after UCLA had made their coaching change. And then the Northwestern game going the way that one did, they let a lead get away in the UCLA game, one that they seemingly were going to handle comfortably. So it's a team that, and it's not just their lack of offensive going down the field. They, you look at their stats, they're not playing as well defensively as maybe everybody thought they would. Now, losing Abdul Carter, that's a big loss from a year ago, but they're not playing the kind of defense you expected they would.
Lost a tough game to Oregon.
Yes.
That was a double overtime and had an interception. That's kind of how they lost to Notre Dame. And, I don't know if they lost faith and like, oh no, here we go again. And then a couple games later, one game turns into 3. The head coach is fired. Then you have to go play in Kinnick Stadium against Iowa. And, they lost that by 1 point. Iowa took advantage of some turnovers. Of course, Iowa turned it over 2 to them. But still, that was one of those games where you just got to find a way to win with your interim coach and battle back, and they couldn't do it. So they're going to put everything on the table right now. They got nothing to lose.
All right, next up, we talked last segment about Ohio State getting a little more production from the running game. Jim, your bread and butter is always going to be the offensive line. Let's start there. What would you like to see better in regards to, run blocking from that group?
I would like to see their technique improve, and that's, what is that in offensive line play? That's your first step. That's staying low, pad level, and then, using your fist to get some movement. You got to get that guy. It's almost like you got to forklift him to get his shoulders up 12 inches. And then you can start driving with your legs. If he stays lower than you don't get leverage on him, it's going to be hard to move anybody because they just kind of hunker down there inside. But you have to be able to come off the ball, take good footwork, use your hands, and get some execution on the drive games. And if you're pulling and trapping, get there in a hurry. Don't lollygag around in the backfield. We got to, work on all those type of things. And then they've been going back and forth with Josh Padilla and Tegra Shabola. They got to make a decision. What do they want to do? Don't worry about hurting guys' feelings. These guys understand they're making money now. Put your best 5 in there and let them go for a run. See if that is it, because Josh Padilla has graded out well. And Tegra Shabola, when you look at Pro Football Focus, their grades, he's been one of the lower ones. So if that's true, I don't know. I mean, I see Tegra do some good things at a time. I just think he's not as consistent as he needs to be on a down-by-down basis. And then Josh Padilla, I think, brings a little attitude in there and, likes to get after people, which is always a good trait to have for an offensive lineman.
And, Paul, we're aware, too, it's not just the O-line. You need the back to hit that hole on time.
Well, and also make people miss, too. And we started to see some of that in the Wisconsin game with some of these backs. We saw what Isaiah West was able to do. Even Donaldson has started to show a little of that. So the term be your own blocker but make your own man miss is something we hear coaches talk a lot about. And that was something that Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson were so good at.
BYOB.
Be your own blocker.
Also, Ohio State's defense, fellas, has played lights out this season. We had Matt Patricia on the coaches show last week with some great insight from him. What's the biggest thing you believe he's brought to him to lead that Ohio State defense?
Well, it's seemingly working in sync with the other defensive coaches, number one, but also taking advantage of the personnel. Certainly his NFL experience gives him a view that very few people have. But the way, and Ryan Day's talked about when they were looking for somebody to hire, bring somebody in that wasn't going to make it about their system, make it about what was the best system for what was there, and that seemingly is what's happened.
Yeah, he's not taking square pegs and put them in round holes. He's talked about, on the show on Thursday when we had him fill in for Ryan Day, he talked about how he just sat there for the first several practices and just watched. I want to learn. I wanted to learn what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And then, he went back to his laboratory and started putting together some schemes of how he could use these guys and start penciling in some names. And then developed them for that role. It's just not having guys in position. You got to develop them to play that position. I think this staff has done a fantastic job doing that. Whether in 4 down front, 3 down front, 5, 6 down front, they've shown a bunch of different looks that an offense has to get prepared for when you play the Buckeye defense.
All right, up next, college football news. We'll get into this later in the show, but LSU became the latest high-profile coaching opening after the change they made yesterday with Brian Kelly. How has the 12-team playoff schools made schools more apt to do what LSU has done? Penn State and others, if they don't get in the playoff, basically we're making a move.
Well, and that's a lot of it because that loss certainly, maybe even before that, put a nail in the coffin for LSU. So a lot of it, too, Skip, goes to the fact that they want to get a head start as much as they can in the hiring cycle, figuring out who's out there. But, when you hear about Tiger Stadium at LSU, fans going out in droves the way they do, with a team getting manhandled the way they did, and it's just kind of, and I think it was Kirby Smart had a quote today, it's just kind of the way of the world right now.
That fired football coaching association meeting room is going to have to get a little bit bigger. They're going to have to renovate that with all the people that have joined that list this year. Now, of course, don't feel sorry for them. A lot of them gets handsome, buyouts.
Feel for the assistants.
Right.
Because they're in limbo.
They got to move. Families got to move. It affects, it used to affect maybe 12 guys. Now it affects maybe close to 35, 40 people and their families, and even more when you get down into the weeds of it. But I think you're right. NIL has motivated, made these boosters feel like they're contributing to the program, and when they're not getting the results they want, they're letting the people that have been begging for money saying, hey, well, okay, if you want more, this and this and this have to happen. And once you get enough people doing that, it seems like these coaches get fired. But you hate to see any coach get fired, and it's results-oriented business, but usually they wait until the end of the year. Now everybody wants to get ahead of that coaching search. And, look at it, LSU, they're maybe John Gruden, the guy I talked about, would be a candidate down there, but it's just.
Well, and that's another good point. Where are all these candidates going to come from now? I mean, are they going to go the Kurt Cignetti route and look at the FCS level?
I don't know, but we all know about Coach Kelly, and if you're going to act a certain way, you better win. And if you don't win, that's enough. I mean, you don't need any more of that. So, all right. Lots as far as happening this past weekend around the Big Ten. We will break it all down for you next as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready? It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Whatever happens today, take it on with a fresh cup of True Brew coffee. Now only $1 with True Rewards. True North Store's True Brew coffee is a hot, flavorful gourmet blend created from coffee beans from around the world. As a free True Rewards member, pick the size that is perfect for you and pay only $1. Don't have the True Rewards mobile app? Find it in the Apple or Google Play Store to download and save instantly. True North convenience stores. Fast, friendly, clean.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our low prices. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Always and forever your home of the Buckeyes. Home of the Buckeyes. The fans. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everyone, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule with Jim Lachey, Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Buckeye fans, power up and carbon down with AEP Energy and Eco Advantage, their 100% renewable energy plan for your home or business. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
It's time for the Buckeye Roundtable Big Ten Breakdown. Now
they're in a pistol look, and the handoff goes to Hemby. Right up the gut, 5-yard line, touchdown! And Roman Hemby again gets his second touchdown of the day as the Hoosiers are putting it on the Bruins here in the second quarter.
Don Fisher on Learfield. Indiana is just rolling, guys. They beat UCLA by 56-6.
You know, you knew the balloon would eventually pop for UCLA after their magic following their coaching change. But how about Roman Hemby? He leaves Maryland and goes to Indiana. And, you know, and everybody knows what Fernando Mendoza has done and those great receivers that Indiana has. But Roman Hemby running the football the way he did Saturday, that just makes them that much of a dangerous team.
Well, it just the way the game started, you know, pick six to
Second
start the
play,
game.
was it? Yeah.
Right. And then, you know, a 3 and out, and boom, before you look up, it's 14-0, and the place has gone bonkers. They scored 35 points in the first half, and they didn't let up in the second half. They went up and put another 21 on them. So they're legit. Their offense, their defense, special teams, all three phases are playing at a high level.
To Eugene, where Oregon hosted Wisconsin.
Zach Grace at the I-back front position, that fullback blocking spot in the I. Under center, Thomas turn, keeps it, going to go back to throw. Wide open. Catch! Touchdown, Oregon. How often does a lineman ever get to celebrate with a little dance in the end zone?
Jerry Allen on Learfield. Offensive lineman's dream. Janoris Wilson with the TD reception. Ducks beat Wisconsin 21-7.
That wasn't a little dance. You know, you buried the lead, Skip. Wisconsin scored. They got on the scoreboard for the first time in weeks. But, you know, the question, not knowing what the answer is, you know, Dante Moore got hurt and had to leave that game for Oregon. Yeah, you know, hopefully for them, you know, there's not a long-term repercussion from that.
Yeah, I think one of their linebackers, it might have been Mason Poza.
That's right. That's who it was.
Hit him across the face mask and basically broke his nose. And, you know, Poza, he's a freshman linebacker, really played well, 13 tackles. The other freshman, Cooper Catalano, stepped up. So, like we were talking about during the break, they're losing better, but it's still, you know, you got to find a way offensively to put some points on the board. But as we know with Coach Fick, he's got a defense.
Next stop, Seattle, where Washington hosted number 23, Illinois.
Go out of the shotgun with Coleman on his right hip. There's a snap, looks into the flat. Now he's going to throw to the end zone. Wide open, Des Roebuck. Got it again. Waiting on the signal. Was he in bounds? 2 arms up. Touchdown, Washington. Touchdown number 2 for true freshman Des Roebuck.
Tony Castricone on Learfield. Huskies big over Illinois, 42-25.
And their quarterback caught a touchdown pass in that game. And, you know, Washington has continued to be a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde, still playing well at home, you know, the struggles on the road. But, you know, this is a team that seems to really be getting some traction. And, you know, Illinois got themselves in trouble with turn. By the way, Did you see both the weather in Seattle and Eugene? Miserable.
Oh,
Thank goodness that we were there when the weather was good the last 2 years.
Coleman, the running back, has 15 touchdowns on the year, 13 on the ground, so he's continuing to do what he needs to do. Obviously, Williams, the quarterback, has really stepped up and played well. And, Boston not only caught a bunch of passes, I think he threw for one in that ball game, too. So, it was just a great game. And, traveling west, we know how hard that can be. Ohio State was able to do it, but it wasn't their best performance. Illinois couldn't do it, even though they got to travel an hour, less than Ohio State would.
Paul Bunyan Trophy at stake as Michigan State hosted Michigan.
Haynes in a shotgun, takes the snap, hands it off to Justice Haynes, who's going to bounce it outside to the 10, to the 5. Justice Haynes will stroll into the end zone. His second touchdown of the game, and Michigan has extended their lead to 23-7.
Doug on Learfield. Wolverines beat Sparty 31-20.
You think they missed Justice Haynes when he was out the previous game? Yes. Boy, he's putting together a fantastic season, as is Jordan Marshall at running the football. And ideally, all this is going to do is allow E.J. Underwood to continue to grow at quarterback. And, Michigan State continues to have the problems, although the Spartans kind of made a game out of it for a while there.
Yeah, they did. Jonathan Smith has just not been able to overcome the Wolverines since he's got there. Undisciplined. They had 12 penalties for 105 yards in that ball game. That's something you got to clean up if you want to win on the road. Now, again, some of those calls were kind of skeptical, like, back and forth, but they had 12 of them.
To Lincoln next, important game for both teams as Nebraska hosted Northwestern.
Snap, turn, handoff Johnson over right guard. Powers, fights, grinds, touchdown, Huskers! 2:44 to go. Johnson would not be denied. 27-21, Nebraska.
Kyle Crook's Husker Network. Good game there, fellas, on Saturday. Nebraska beats Northwestern 28-21.
And they seem to have flipped the narrative about close football games. Remember, they couldn't win one to save their life. Now they're doing a good job of it. The young man Williams, who returned a kickoff for a touchdown, was just put on scholarship a couple of weeks ago.
He earned it.
Good move.
He earned it again. You look at what Dana Holgerson has done, and he had to come up with a better game plan for Dylan Raiola because he was getting smashed. I think he had 9 sacks a week before. I think they quickened up the passes, let him get in a little bit of rhythm, and he didn't stand in that pocket behind the porous offensive line as much as he did in the past, and that helped him sustain enough drives to get some points and win the game.
To West Lafayette, two teams searching for their first conference win. As Rutgers was at Purdue, it came down to the end.
McCann checks with him. He's ready. Good snap. Good spot. Kick on its way. End over end and good! And the Scarlet Knights win it and snap a 3-game losing streak. Make it a 4-game losing streak. 27-24 over Purdue this afternoon in Indiana.
Chris Carlin on Learfield. Rutgers with the walk-off field goal to win it 27-24.
They took advantage of getting turnovers from Purdue, and the young man that kicked that field goal, Jay Patel, he had lost that kicking job earlier in the season. Thank goodness he bounced back the way he did.
Yeah, it looks like Brown is okay. He played in that ball game, so we thought he was injured. That was a hard-fought game, and I was watching the highlights of that and saw the end of it, actually just watching the end of it live. And, boy, Coach Shiano, it's like he won the Super Bowl, man. I've never seen a guy so happy.
Final stop, Iowa City, where the Hawkeyes hosted Minnesota.
Gronowski, play fake, wants to go to the end zone. Fires down, caught, touchdown Iowa, touchdown Hawkeyes. What a beautiful throw and a great catch. And Reese Vandersee has his first score of the year.
Gary Dolphin on Learfield. Iowa wins the Floyd of Rosedale Trophy. What's with the points we're seeing from Iowa? They beat Minnesota 41-3.
Well, a quarterback that can hurt you, not only just throwing the ball, but running the ball, even though he's dealing with a knee injury. And, something to think about with, Penn State coming to Columbus when they played Iowa the other week. Iowa tipped a lot of those passes that led to some of those turnovers. So their defense able to get their hands on the ball, hopefully something Ohio State can do.
Yeah, Gronowski's had a rushing touchdown in every game so far this year, so his legs have definitely helped Iowa, keep drives alive and get in the end zone. And they got a pretty good punt returner again. Cajun Legion has 5 career punt kickoff returns. That's amazing. We see one about every 20 years here. It's few and far between, and this kid's got 5 this year already. So and it's not just him. They do an excellent job Coach LeVar Woods getting those guys prepared each and every week to go out there and dominate the special teams.
Play along with me here now. If the season ended today, the Big Ten would assuredly get 3 teams in the 12-team playoff field. If there were to be a 4th, who would it be and why? If it ended today.
Okay. Well, assuming we're in agreement, the 3 are Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon.
Yes. It's not Purdue, Northwestern, and
Rutgers, and Maryland.
Well, you'd have to consider Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Iowa.
I think Illinois.
Nebraska has 2 losses.
I think the Bloom's off Illinois, right?
Yeah, they got 3.
So I'm just curious as far as when you start to look at those Big Ten conference standings, it's like, is there a 4th? Is there a possibility for a 4th?
Maybe there won't be a 4th. Right now, you just you don't worry about that.
That might be pushing it.
Someday,
but it's a good question. If
last year we were 8th.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. They're all good teams.
Penn State at Ohio State this week. Also, we have Indiana at Maryland. Illinois will host Rutgers. Michigan State is at Minnesota. Purdue travels to Ann Arbor. Nebraska plays host to USC. Of those, besides the Ohio State-Penn State game, which one are you most curious as far as, I wonder what's going to happen here?
Nebraska, USC. The Trojans have been knocked down a bit, and is Nebraska really going to be able to continue, especially if it's a close game? They want to continue to get people to think that they've shaken that can't win a close game. They've been able to win a few of them now, so probably that one.
Yeah, Indiana going to Maryland, if it's a rainy day, maybe something there can happen, but that's not the most interesting game I want to watch. But, I think, Illinois, Rutgers, probably not. Maybe Michigan, Minnesota, Michigan State, because I know Jonathan Smith's fighting for his job right there. That could be an interesting game.
I was surprised how badly Minnesota was beaten on Saturday.
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed.
It was completely
all 3 phases.
One-sided to see if they bounce back coming up this week. Again, Ohio State plays host to Penn State on Saturday, 12 noon kickoff. We'll be on the air from Ohio Stadium with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 10:30 a.m. By the way, next week's game at Purdue, the game time has been set. A very unusual start time from what everyone's used to, a 1 o'clock kick, so we'll be on the air next week from West Lafayette at 11:30 a.m.
And we were talking earlier today. We think the last 1 o'clock kick was 2001 in Ann Arbor against Michigan.
Somebody said it might have been the Gator Bowl in Jackson.
Yeah.
Well, we're thinking regular
season game. So we'll get to the bottom of that coming up soon. All right, we'll get to the bottom as far as what's been happening at Ohio State as they get ready for Penn State. Buckeye coach Ryan Day scheduled to join the Buckeye Roundtable show. That is next.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
Hey, Ohio State fans, are you looking to score big with your home equity? Union Home Mortgage will help you unlock the value of your home and fund the promises you've made to yourself and your family. If you need to pay off debt, have home improvements, or whatever your family needs are, visit UHM.com and score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender and MLS number 2229.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Around here, it's all or nothing. And Toyota's got more all-wheel drive choices than anybody.
Now through November 3rd, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Corolla gas models. Excludes GR and Corolla Cross. Or lease a gas-powered 26 Corolla LE for $209 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everyone, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Ohio State will host Penn State coming up Saturday, 12 noon kickoff at Ohio Stadium. Joined for a few moments by Ohio State head coach Ryan Day. His comments are presented by Kroger. And Coach Day, we know the Lions have lost 4 straight, but by a combined 13 points. Despite losing their quarterback, still an awful lot of talent on that roster. Just what you've made, I guess, out of Penn State as you begin your game prep this week.
First off, very talented, extremely talented. Just from top to bottom. One of the more talented teams in the country, and I think we all knew that going into the season. It hasn't gone that way, or exactly gone the way that they wanted to, but doesn't mean that the talent's not there. And so they've had a bye week, and I thought they played really, really hard at Iowa. Tough start for a young quarterback, but we know we're going to get their best swing here, and we got to have a great week of practice.
Coach, when you're watching tape of Penn State's defense, are you seeing some things that maybe you've seen in the past, here at Ohio State, or is there some things that, Coach Knowles is doing different?
Well, Jim's always done a good job of putting his guys in a position to be successful. And so he's done that, and he'll have some curveballs for us, I'm sure. So it'll come down to us. It'll come down to, how we execute. And, we know that, we've got to, get our pads down. We have to win the line of scrimmage. We have to run the football. We have to protect. And then, when it's time to throw the ball, we got to execute at a high level. So we'll be prepared, and make sure that, we're focused on us. But, he's always been very creative in how he's put together his defenses. But most importantly, he's done a good job of putting his guys in the position to be successful. So excited about the challenge.
Now, Coach, that the results from Saturday usually are kind of the answer to things. But when you look at how your team has not only handled the 2 bye weeks, but just all of their other business, are you liking what you're seeing as far as players individually and collectively taking care of their personal and academic business?
Well, I think now is where you can separate yourself, because now is when it gets real. So the first half of the season is over. As the adage goes, you really never remember the games in September, sometimes in October, but always in November, December, and January. And so now is where we have to separate ourselves, because, as you get late in the season, this is where it's easy to start the fray. And so we challenge our guys to make sure that we're disciplined to continue with the same routine that have got us this far. And that's something that we really reiterated big time in the bye week.
Coach, I know this week's obviously all Penn State, but last week, was that a chance to maybe rest some of your guys that have played a lot of football here at Ohio State throughout their careers, and then always continue to develop your depth?
That's exactly what it was, yes. Yep, a little bit of both. So we're out there practicing. Guys need to keep their edge, and that's really important. But we also need some guys to come on, and we're able to get some good depth. We had some really good physical practices Wednesday, Thursday, and really worked on our fundamentals. Got a little head start on Penn State. So now it's back to work.
You've talked about doing the routine things routinely, but as guys go through doing that, are you seeing where they've learned the importance of each and every part, not only of what goes on the practice field, but watching the film and all of the things that lead to Saturday?
I don't know. I hope so. I think some guys do. I think the older guys do. I think we continue to reiterate that message of that's exactly, what you need to do. Again, it's not flashy, but it's what it takes. And when you're at Ohio State, we're expected to, be consistent. We're expected to, put our hard hat on every day and pack a lunch and go to work. And that's what it takes. There's no shortcuts on this thing. So, embracing that is important in today's day and age when I think everybody wants a quick fix.
And, Coach, I think you got to, maybe shout out to those fans. This is one that they always had circling their calendars, and it doesn't change from your point of view what happens over at Penn State. But crowd noise, earning Buckeye Leafs, getting that place rocking, with only 3 home games left, this was a big one. And I know you probably want to get that crowd for that noon start ready to go.
Yeah, we miss being at home, 3 of our last 4 on the road. So can't wait to get back to the Horseshoe. And, last time Penn State was in the Horseshoe, it was rocking. And it's got to be the same way. We got to force them into a silent cadence, off the clap. And, got to be the most hostile environment. So, yeah, we're going to need everybody. We've had great crowds this year. The environment, the atmosphere has been as good as I've seen it in Ohio Stadium so far this year. So we got to keep that going. We got to be at our best, and that's everybody involved.
During this bye week, as you and the other coaches were out recruiting, were you feeling the love from everybody with how well things have gone this season, and as well as just the whole overall appeal of the Ohio State University?
Yeah, there's no question. There's a lot of great buzz, but Woody called it rat poison, and kick them in the shins, and they tell you you're doing good. It's the same way, man. Like, you got to ignore the noise. Someone tells you things are going good, and boy, you guys look great. I feel like it's a setup, man. So it just kind of makes me a little bit more edgy, and can't wait to get back on campus and get after the guys because we know how this goes. So I quickly got back to campus and got back with the guys, but yeah, it was good. There's a great buzz around the program right now nationally.
Coach, I know you always continue to work on your depth on your offensive line, and you guys been alternating there at right guard. Have you guys come any closer to conclusions of what you ultimately want to do there?
Spun those guys this week, got them a bunch of reps, but we'll let it continue through the week and see how they handle the game plan, and then decide how the reps are going to get broken up from there. But good to have a bunch of guys able to go into a game, and then we're going to try to make sure we put the best guys in the game, especially for a game like this. That gives us the best chance to win. But we feel confident with both of them in the game. That's the good thing. And so those guys need to have a great week of preparation.
Coach, the way your passing attack is and the way the performance you came off of Wisconsin, do you feel like, hey, why don't we just ride this car for a little bit? Because that seems to be working good, and work on the running game after you have a 21-point lead.
Well, I wish it always worked out like that. What we're trying to do is, we're trying to make sure we do what we can to do whatever it takes to win in that moment. What gives us the best chance to win? What gives us the best chance to move the ball, score points, and we want to be able to do multiple ways based on the matchup. So, we try to do the best we can to have balance, but sometimes, whether it's how we're executing or what the defense has given us, we have to, go in one way more than the other. We're always looking for balance. And so we were able to get back after it here in the bye week to identify the things that we need to improve on and the things we're doing well.
Buckeye Coach Ryan Day, we always appreciate your time. We see you for your radio show coming up on Thursday, okay?
All right, guys. Appreciate you. Go Bucks.
Coach's comments presented by Kroger. Kroger Pickup is the easy way to get what you want right when you need it. Try Kroger Pickup today in the Kroger app or at Kroger.com. Welcome to Ohio State. Number 1 team in the country. You do whatever on offense, quarterback playing lights out. People still want you to run the football better.
Oh, it is. That's, the old adage, right? You got to be able to run the football. There's nothing else. If you get average 4.5 yards per carry, that's going to get you a lot of first downs and move down the field. The thing is, they just got to be more consistent because they've shown some ability to do it. 2 out of 3 plays, rushes, or 2 out of 4. You just got to get it up to like 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6, where you're very, very proficient running the football. And we're not there yet.
Okay, coming up next, we will hit the red zone. Longtime Ohio State reporter Tim May will join the Buckeye Roundtable show. That is next.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
American Electric Power is a proud sponsor of Buckeyes Care.
Hi, I'm Janelle Coleman with American Electric Power. AEP comes together with our communities to create a better future every day. Whether we serve, build, or simply share with others, we make Central Ohio brighter for our neighbors. Our collaboration with Buckeyes Care is another way we work to make the future boundless for all.
Buckeye football lives here. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody. Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey, Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Coach Cooper will be back with us coming up next week. For every Buckeye touchdown scored this season, the Heartland Bank Community Foundation will make a donation to the USO of Central and Southern Ohio, benefiting our active duty military personnel and their families. For more information or to support our troops, go to usocso.org and be the force behind the forces.
Buckeye Roundtable Red Zone.
Joined inside the Red Zone, longtime Ohio State beat reporter Tim May. And Tim, let's start with this, with news from LSU yesterday. Is this where we're at now in college football, where it's the playoff or bust when it comes to coaching? And I guess if so, how many more openings do you envision?
Oh, there could be several more, which is really strange because that one great coach that everybody's going to try to hire, I'd like to be that guy. Because, to me, it's folly to make a move like this. I think even Urban Meyer pointed that out. It's folly to make a move like this unless you've got somebody maybe not only in mind, but, rounded up and ready to go at the end of the regular season. But, we know Brian Kelly has had his ups and downs there, starting with a press conference where he tried to talk like Tim May and didn't pull it off.
He tried, but
Emily.
Yeah, I mean, but there sometimes you can retread, like Kansas State did with Bill Snyder, and sometimes things work out. And last time I looked, Ed Orgeron is out there without a job, so it's just crazy. the expectations now, but then when you see the amount of money involved, just paying head coaches, but then you see the money they can come up with to pay off head coaches. Pride, man, pride's a big thing. It's just what drives everything. It's what drives sports, and some people are just weary of being almost there, but not quite. So, there, as we talk about, and we've talked about several times on this show, there are 2 head coaches that have won national championships in major college football right now. Kirby Smart and Ryan Day.
Well, Dabo Swinney, you got to throw him in there too.
Well, yeah, Dabo. Yeah, I was thinking on another term because I've already written Dabo off.
So something we mentioned earlier, Tim. We know the candidates whose names are being talked about. With what Curt Cignetti has done at Indiana, coming from where he came from, is there a FCS path that somebody might be able to follow suit and maybe surprise everybody and become a candidate for some of these big openings?
Absolutely. Paul, who was I talking to last week on my May show? We were talking about the fact that Jim Tressel, came from basically FCS, one AA back then. Curt Cignetti now, are those just, anomalies? I don't know. But the easiest thing to do is throw money at somebody that you think, that's already known, that you think can take you to the promised land. But like I just pointed out, and you added in there Dabo's name, the guys who have really gotten it done, there's only 3. So how do you know the next guy you're going to hire, the next hot name in the major college ranks is going to be that guy? Here's what Curt Cignetti has done now. And I'll give it up to Indiana. They did their homework. They went out and found this guy and Googled. Evidently, they Googled him because they knew what he was all about.
AI.
And the thing is, that's taking a chance. But is it taking a chance by hiring somebody else who also hasn't won a national championship? I don't know. I know one thing, you can save money going that route. But what Curt Cignetti has done has put all these other coaches on notice. It's like, you're looking LSU fans and Penn State fans and everybody, well, wait a minute, if Curt Cignetti in Indiana can do that, why can't we? We have so much more blue blood in terms of football in us than him. But, of course, if they're paying attention, they've seen that Curt Cignetti has turned Indiana into a football school. Crazy.
Hey, Tim, when you look at the coaches that have gotten fired, right, and we all talk about the buyout money and how outrageous it is, but I'd say 90% of those guys are going to get back into coaching. So that's going to get kind of reduced because they're getting paid by another school. I can see maybe 1 or 2 saying, hey, I won the lotto, I'm going to hang it up. But the majority of those guys are going to get back into coaching. So really, it's not like, okay, Penn State's got it. Well, James Franklin's going to get a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't anticipate him not coaching football. So does some of that kind of work out? And would James Franklin be, a UCLA or Virginia Tech? What do you think his role is in all this?
Well, as you can imagine, you've seen his name listed on everybody's chart, even Florida State. He's kind of got Florida State, the state of Florida ties to a certain extent too. So, here's the thing, Jim. Just like I said a while ago, what drives a lot of what's going on is pride. What drives a coach who's been canned is pride. You don't want to leave with that bad taste in your mouth, whether people like Brian Kelly or not. Grand Valley State, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, with the exception of not winning national championships at Cincinnati and Notre Dame, he's been extremely successful. So, I don't. It depends on what the schools are looking for. Here's what the schools know, though. Everybody knows now in FBS, you are putting a lot of money. There's a lot of money going into your football program, and you want to feel like if you've got any pride at all as a school, you want to feel like that you're getting these cuts in these major conferences like the SEC, for example, and the Big Ten, and that you're putting the money where a lot of the money where it belongs is being a viable member of the football community of that conference, and show you're not just frivolously throwing that money away on other things. So, there's a lot going on, but I would think if I wanted to get a program on its feet, definitely James Franklin is a guy to look at. He was Clark Lee at Vanderbilt before Clark Lee came along.
Might all of this activity make some schools decide not to make changes and maybe we're considering them?
Yeah. Well, I'm very curious to see what happens, for example, at Wisconsin, because you and I and Jim and Skip, we were all sitting there probably expecting Wisconsin to go to Oregon and just get the rest of the Badger beaten out of it, right? And did not happen. And we all know the challenges Luke has had on the injury front this year that he had just in the Ohio State game in microcosm from an injury standpoint. Now, that means he maybe has to address some other aspects of the program. But if like I said a while ago, if you've got like 15, 16 fishermen all fishing the same lake for the same lunker bass, you're probably going to come up short. So he might be to stay with a guy for his contract and see what happens.
Get a bigger hook, get a bigger boat, get some better bait. Tim, man, we always appreciate your time with Tim. We'll chat later in the week. Appreciate it, okay?
Yeah, or wiggly worm. See you guys.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Coming up next, our Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Player of the Week Award, our American Dairy Association Mid-East Top High School Performances, and our weekly whip around the state. We'll hit the sidelines with Tyler Danberg. More on the national stuff as far as what's been going on. Adam Rittenberg of ESPN.com will join us as well. All that and more. Hour number 2 of Buckeye Roundtable here on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
James Peoples here, running back for the Ohio State Buckeyes. You have to check out the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Buckeye sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State Team Shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Around here, it's all or nothing. And Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like the best-selling Toyota Camry. Now through November 3rd, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Camrys. Or lease a new 26 Camry LE for $279 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Always and forever your Ohio State flagship station.
WBNS-FM HD1 Columbus.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Good evening, I'm Jacob Reimer. Week 8 in the NFL finishes up tonight with Monday Night Football. The Kansas City Chiefs host the Washington Commanders. Kickoff at 8:15. You can catch the action here on The Fan at 8 o'clock. Some injury updates for both the Browns and Bengals. Kevin Stefanski announced today that Quinshon Judkins is day-to-day with a shoulder injury that caused him to leave Sunday's game at New England. And Zach Taylor has announced Joe Flacco is day-to-day, also with a shoulder injury. The Browns will be on their bye this week while the Bengals host the Bears this Sunday. In the NBA, the Cavs go for their third straight win tonight, visiting the Detroit Pistons. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. Game 3 of the World Series is tonight with the Dodgers and Blue Jays tied at 1 game apiece. Toronto puts out Max Scherzer against Tyler Glasnow for Los Angeles. First pitch is at 8 o'clock. And in the MLS Cup playoffs, the Columbus Crew are currently underway, taking on Cincinnati FC in Game 1 of their best-of-3 series. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our low prices. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King, is on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
And welcome back, everybody, along with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Saturday, Ohio State will host Penn State. More on that coming up, but right now it is time to talk some high school football.
It's time for the Encova Insurance High School Player Award on Buckeye Roundtable.
One of the highlights of the Buckeye Roundtable shows the presentation of the Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Athlete of the Week Award. During each roundtable show, Encova Insurance and the Ohio State Sports Network honor a high school athlete for their outstanding play and team leadership. And tonight's recipient is senior strong safety Peter Tremonti from Broadview Heights in Brecksville. Listen to this, guys. Friday night, Tremonti was in on 30 tackles. He had 4 solos, 26 assists, and added a 44-yard pick six in Broadview Heights' 17-14 win at Twinsburg. The Bees are coached by Jason Black. They finished the regular season 6-4 and 8th in Division II Region 8. They will host Oregon Clay in the opening round of the playoffs Friday night. Again, congratulations to Peter Tremonti of Broadview Heights High School, the recipient of this week's Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Athlete of the Week Award. Encova Insurance, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Time now for Buckeye Roundtable's American Dairy Association Mid-East top performers and our whip around the state.
30 tackles and a pick six.
They got to run the other way. They can't run at that guy. He's going to make every tackle. There's only 60 or 70 plays in a game, and he had half the tackles.
Unbelievable. That was not the only top performance, though.
Fairview quarterback Bert Lowry was 30 of 46 passing for 431 yards and 4 touchdowns, and added 2 more scores on the ground in Fairview's 56-41 win at West Virginia Cabell Midland.
Lakota East running back Ryder Hooks rushed for 288 yards and 4 touchdowns in Lakota East 42-28 win over Lakota West.
Olentangy Orange quarterback Levi Davis was 14 of 21 for 216 yards and a touchdown, and added 95 yards and 2 more TDs on the ground as Orange beat Olentangy Liberty 26-14.
Indian Creek running back Bruce Mazar, 6 receptions, 82 yards, scored a pair of TDs, 1 rushing and 1 receiving, including the game winner in overtime as Indian Creek beat Richmond Edison 21-15.
Fairfield running back A.J. Brown had 24 carries for 107 yards and a touchdown in Fairfield's 17-0 win at Oak Hills.
Glenville quarterback Arvell Nelson Jr., 14 of 16 passing for 308 yards and 5 touchdowns, and added another score on the ground in Glenville's 38-6 win over Rhodes.
Steubenville quarterback Santino Haney was 18 of 24 for 261 yards and 3 touchdowns. They added another 78 yards on the ground as Steubenville beat Wheeling Park 38-7.
The Pickerington North defense limited Gahanna to just 110 yards of offense and only 4 first downs, highlighted by a 70-yard pick six by safety Ryan Miller as pick North shut out Gahanna 35-0.
Wow.
Warrior defensive end Luke Bonnet had 9 solo tackles, 3 TFLs, and an assist, and a sack in Aurora's 35-0 win at Barberton.
Anderson quarterback Owen Scalf, 21 of 22 passing, 356 yards, 4 touchdowns, and another 105 yards and another score on the ground as Anderson beat Loveland 42-7.
Running back Drayton Allgood from Chardon rushed for 220 yards and 4 touchdowns in Chardon's 34-14 win over Kenston.
Wycliffe quarterback Dominic Porcello ran for 131 yards and a pair of touchdowns. It was a perfect 3 for 3 passing with one going for another touchdown. As that sounds like baseball numbers as Wycliffe beat Crestwood 31-14.
Hey, man, you threw all 3. They were all 3 complete. You got
football.
one for a touchdown. We begin our Week 10 whip around the state in Northwest Ohio. Some big numbers there as we hear from WNDH's Dave Kleck.
Up in the northwest corner of the state, William Zedek of Fairview combined for 437 yards of total offense as quarterback with 8 touchdowns in a Fairview win over Hicksville. Tenora rallied from a 30-6 deficit, led by quarterback Owen Farrell's 305 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. And Napoleon running back Hayden Grohl ripped off 280 yards and set the single-season rushing record at 1,635 yards. From WNDH in Napoleon, I'm Dave Kleck.
Special teams standout play in Allen County. Here's WIMA's Todd Walker.
Last week, we told you about Trevin Baxter of Columbus Grove setting a school record with 18 receptions. This week, Baxter was the hero in a 38-28 win over rival Bluffton, returning kickoffs 99 and 89 yards for touchdowns. Baxter also had an interception to seal the deal. That's 26 straight Northwest Conference wins for Columbus Grove and 3 straight championships. They earned a bye in the upcoming playoffs. Reporting for 1150 WIMA in Lima, this is Todd Walker.
Good night in Logan County. Here's WPKO's Chad Wilkinson.
The Indian Lake Lakers wrapped up the CBC Mad River Division title Friday night with a convincing 49-6 victory over the Northwestern Warriors. Junior quarterback Brady Galladay was nearly perfect, going 16 for 17 for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns. Junior wide receiver Brody Reisinger had 7 catches for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. And on defense, he intercepted 3 passes and took 2 of them to the house for pick sixes. The 8-2 Lakers now get a first-round bye as their number 2 in Region 20. From 98.3 WPKO in Bell Fountain, I'm Chad Wilkinson.
To Montgomery County next. Players peaking at the right time as we hear from WING's Justin Kinner.
It's been quite an interesting ride over the last few weeks for future Buckeye Jameer Brown for the Wayne Warriors. Despite all of that, though, he has continued to produce on the field, and he did it again this past Friday night as Brown helped Wayne close out the season with a 47-27 win over Centerville to finish the regular season at 6-4. Brown finished the night with 5 catches for 106 yards and a touchdown. Next up for Brown and the Wayne Warriors is Galloway Westland and Huber Heights this Friday night at 7 p.m. for postseason action. For ESPN 1410 Wing AM, I'm Justin Kinner in Dayton.
Across the state, nice night in Washington County and WMOA's Andy Rex.
Guys, not a lot went right for Marietta in the 2025 season, but they capped it off on Friday night with a 42-14 win over Warren. Tiger seniors Owen Riley and Will Tornes were the big sparks in the game. Riley had 33 carries for 176 yards and 2 scores, and also threw a touchdown pass. On defense, Tornes had not 1, but 2 interception returns for touchdowns. After starting 0-6, Marietta won 3 of their last 4 to finish at 3-7, and look forward to using that momentum into next year. From WMOA in Marietta, I'm Andy Rex.
Love Week 10 rivalry games. We have a few to take you home with some top performances. To Perry County next in WHIZ's David Kinder.
There was a lot riding on the Sheridan Generals Week 10 game against the New Lexington Panthers. Not only would a win get them into the playoffs, but it would also deny their biggest rival a 10-0 season. And Sheridan accomplished both goals, thanks in part to running back Logan Russell. In the second quarter, New Lexington had taken their first lead of the game, but Russell took the ensuing kickoff back 88 yards for a touchdown to give Sheridan a lead they would never give up. Russell added another 95 yards and a touchdown through the run game, and the Generals won 31-21. They get the 9 seed in the Division III Region 11 playoffs and will open the postseason Friday at Granville. Reporting for WHIZ Radio in Zanesville, I'm David Kinder.
We know there are some rivalry games in Knox County. Here's WMVO's Tyler Mathias.
Danville sophomore running back Cy Wallace rushed for 153 yards and 4 touchdowns at Danville's 52-12 win over East Knox in the Devil Dog game on Friday night. Meanwhile, running back Miles Marshall rushed for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns in Centerbird's 34-0 win over Fredericktown to clinch the outright Knoxmore Athletic Conference championship. Centerbird got the top seed in Division 6 Region 23 and a bye. Fredericktown plays at Fairview Park as the 10 seed against the 7 seed on Friday. Danville will travel to Steubenville Central Catholic on Friday. Reporting from WQIO and WMVO out of Mount Vernon, I'm Tyler Mathias.
And our final stop, quite a story in Tuscarawas County as we hear from WJER's Bill Hammerstrom.
The 122nd meeting between the New Philadelphia Quakers and the Dover Crimson Tornadoes was a classic. The score was tied at 28 with about a minute left when Dover quarterback sophomore Dieter Weber was knocked out of the game. Stepping in at QB, senior Jack Judkins. This year's starting quarterback until injuries cost him several games and the job. But with under 30 seconds to play, he threw the winning touchdown to Dante Clark. Judkins' first pass since week 4 to give the Tornadoes a 35-28 win, 129 years in the making. Both teams are out of the playoffs, but the rivalry matchup might as well be the Super Bowl here in Tuscarawas County. For WJER in Dover, I'm Bill Hammerstrom.
Thanks to all of our great affiliates for the reports as we hit the postseason beginning this week. Home teams, Jim Lachey.
Well, the Bobcats won, so they're in the playoffs. St. Henry beat Versailles in a hard-fought game and have a bye.
They got a bye. I want to say Grandview has to go to Toronto. So it's have fun over in Jefferson County over there.
They're banged up, but they'll battle.
Moeller?
Got a win over Muskegon from Michigan, and they get a bye in the first round of the playoffs.
Hartley lost a close one to DeSales. They needed Colin Behringer back to kick a few field goals. They would have been in much better shape had that been the case. Just missed out on the playoffs with the move from 16 teams to 12. Our top performers from around the state was presented by the American Dairy Association Mideast. A reminder from Ohio's dairy farmers, 8 ounces of delicious chocolate milk has 8 grams of protein with the power to fuel everyone, including Ohio State quarterback Tavian St. Clair. He's built like a Buckeye, and you can be too. Learn more at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/built like a Buckeye. Any shakeup in the top 25 we'll discuss after further review as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
The best outcomes for treating cancer come from early detection and early diagnosis.
The James Cancer Diagnostic Center at Ohio State
is designed to provide rapid evaluation and a clear diagnosis.
We are transforming care by giving patients direct access
to cancer experts who study and treat cancer every day.
If you think you have cancer, the choice is clear.
Choose the James Cancer Diagnostic Center.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb, coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler's at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Experience Buckeye Game Day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Around here, it's all or nothing. And nobody has more all-wheel drive choices than Toyota. Now through November 3rd, get 4.75 APR financing on a new 25 RAV4. Or 5.75 on RAV4 Hybrid, excludes plug-ins. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 LE for $309 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everyone, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey and Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick. Join Coach Ryan Day and experts from across Buckeye Nation to preview every matchup and break down each week's game. Game Time with Ryan Day, presented by Huntington Bank, airs game day Saturday mornings at 9 on 10 TV in Columbus and statewide on OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Buckeye Roundtable.
Greatest play is under further review.
After further review.
KC backpedaling, SEC logo, fields at the 22 near the LSU sideline, comes to the left, high tackle, doesn't get him, 40-yard line, he cuts back to the right, 45. He's gone! KC! He's gone! You heard my partner, KC, gone! Touchdown, Aggies!
He does have a name, but Andrew Monaco on Learfield. Concepcion with the return. Texas A&M steamrolls LSU in Baton Rouge, 49-25.
Marcel Reed is having himself an outstanding season at quarterback for the Aggies, and number one, you think he might be starting to get some talk for Heisman consideration. And also, Mike Elko, maybe National Coach of the Year consideration.
What a second half for the Aggies, right? I mean, that was 18-14 at halftime, and, you looked like LSU was going to maybe squeak one out at home, and all Aggies in the second half of the thing was blown open and got the coach fired.
While A&M is rolling, a couple of others in the SEC are as well. Could Ole Miss bounce back from their loss at Georgia as they headed to Oklahoma?
Chambliss takes the snap. Here comes pressure. He's in the pocket, wants to throw, steps up, dumps it near side, wide open to the 5. There's a catch, and there's a touchdown. Trace Buckler with his first one as an Ole Miss Rebel.
David Kellum on Learfield, Mississippi, with 9 in the fourth quarter to win at Oklahoma, 34-26.
Yeah, after they let a double-digit lead get away, but Trinidad Chambliss was great on third down. He was able, with his feet, to keep some plays going and keep Ole Miss in that game when it wasn't going well for them.
No, it was a great win for Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin, he's sitting there. He's got a pretty good gig right now. He's probably going to make the playoffs if, football ended today.
Might get a big raise.
He's going to probably get a big raise, so things are going well for Coach Kiffin and Ole Miss.
Could Alabama keep things rolling as they played at South Carolina?
Bernard in the pistol. In the Wildcat. Jeremy getting the snap. Fakes the flip. Keeps it himself. 20, 15, Jeremy 10, Jeremy 5. Touchdown!
Chris Stewart's on Learfield. Bama keeping things interesting, but they win their 7th in a row, beating South Carolina 29-22.
Right before that play, they were getting ready to run the play, and South Carolina took a timeout, and you wondered, okay, have they given away what it is that they're going to do? But another guy that's playing some outstanding football, not just the whole Alabama team, but Ty Simpson, their quarterback.
Yeah, Jeremy Bernard, you heard there, had a big game for Alabama. And, Lenore Sellers, that fumble at the end really hurt him. Yeah.
To the ACC, Atlanta, our next stop. Could Georgia Tech, bless you, could they remain perfect as they hosted Syracuse?
Rivers jets in motion. They fake the mesh. King throws the slip screen. Is caught left side by Patterson. Down the sideline, 25. A foot race to the 15, to the 10. Tight ropes. Dives to the pylon. He's in. Touchdown, Jackets. Dean Patterson riding that high wire into pay dirt, and the Jackets strike back for 6.
Andy Demetra, Georgia Tech Radio Jackets are 8-0, beating Syracuse 41-16.
How about Brent Key for some of these big-time head coaching openings? It's not just been this year. He's had Georgia Tech in an upward trend for a while.
How about Haynes King? I mean, unbelievable. The game that he was able to have 5 touchdowns in that game. Maybe Syracuse was missing Kyle McCord.
Maybe.
Yes.
They had a good year last year.
Yes. Yeah. Another team that's unbeaten in the ACC is Virginia. Saturday, they were at North Carolina.
Taylor remains the tailback. Ennis, the tight end, to the right. Snap back, it goes to Taylor, keeps it himself, and Taylor plows into the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia. And the Who's get the touchdown they needed on the opening possession of overtime.
John Freeman on Virginia Radio. Cavaliers win it in OT 17-16.
Was that any relation to Cindy Lou Who's?
I don't know.
The problem that Virginia's had, this is the second straight week they've flirted with danger, but have pulled victory from the jaws of defeat. And the bigger problem, their quarterback, Chandler Morris, got hurt in that game and not knowing what his status is going to be moving forward.
Yeah, head coach for Virginia, Tony Elliott, said, I would have kicked it, if he was Bill Belichick.
He went for two
and
the win, yeah.
Got one, he tried to get the win on the road and, wasn't able to do it.
Just trying to win the game. Just trying to win the game. To the Big 12, BYU is still perfect on the season. Could they stay that way Saturday at Iowa State?
2nd and 9, Iowa State 36, ball far hash. Cyclones right to left. Knee-high snap to Beck. Beck throws on the out, and it is picked off! It's going to go! 20-10 touchdown! Falatau Satawala, pick 6, and the Cougs go up 13 with a PAT pending.
Greg Wrubel, BYU Radio, they improved to 8-0, beating Iowa State 41-27.
That sounded like Mike Grimm. Didn't it?
A little bit.
It sounded a lot like him. BYU
going after a pork chop.
24-3 in the second half, their point total. And if you haven't heard, it's Bear season in Provo, Utah. Bear Bachmeier, their quarterback, having an outstanding year.
Threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for another. Rocco Beck, 3 interceptions in that game. We were talking so much about him early in the year. It's kind of fallen off here midseason.
Speaking of Bear, also very quietly still unbeaten in Big 12 play, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Could they handle Baylor on Saturday?
Sorsby waiting for the shotgun snap. Sorsby fakes a handoff, running to the 10, the 5, and high steps his way into the end zone for a Bearcat touchdown.
Dan Horde, UC Radio, Cincy beats Baylor 41-20. Bearcats 7-1, still unbeaten in Big 12 play.
And very easily could be undefeated with a close loss to Nebraska. But, Sorsby, an Indiana transfer, and the Ohio State transfers are having a big part. Joe Royer at tight end, Evan Pryor at running back, and I think the over and under was almost 70 in that game before the game started.
Not a lot of defense there. But
no, the Bearcats came out to play and put up big points.
Sure.
In that ball game, had a good rushing attack and just a well-rounded team. Offense, defense, and special teams. All 3 phases are playing well.
Seems like there's always a surprise in the Big 12. Saturday, it was in the same location as a week ago as Arizona State hosted Houston.
Amari Thomas goes in motion from left to right. Dean Connors, the single running back. Wigman with the snap. Wigman, time, looks into the end zone. Touchdown, Koziel! A 2-handed catch on the back line of the end zone, and the Cougars lead it 16-0 with 10:10 to play in the third quarter.
Kevin Eschenfelder on Learfield. Houston with the upset at Arizona State, 24-16.
The Big 12 is going to be crazy by the time we figure it out.
Crazy.
And you know what? And Willie Fritz, the Houston coach, his name's probably going to get kicked around for some of these openings. But think about this. You've got now Cincinnati and BYU up at the top, and they play later in the year at Nippert Stadium, I believe. I think.
I don't know. I know they're at Utah coming up this week.
And I believe the game day show's going out there to Utah for that.
It's an awful early one before a very late game. But yes.
Yeah, but Willie Fritz, who came here to Columbus and brought a Tulane team here, and he parlayed Tulane's success into getting the job at Houston, but his name's one that's going to be talked about.
He's been good at everywhere. He was at Sam Houston. He's at Georgia Southern and Central Missouri. He's won at all those places, so he's been successful at every stop.
Just 3 games involving teams both in the top 25 this week. Vandy is at Texas. Tennessee hosts Oklahoma. Cincinnati is at Utah. Up next, we will hit the sidelines with Tyler Danberg. That is next as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Everyone loves Donato's legendary thin crust, but sometimes you want a little more to grab. That's where Donato's hand-tossed pizza comes in. Golden, delicious, and perfect for dipping in that ranch, marinara, or garlic butter sauce. For a limited time, get a large one-topping hand-tossed pizza plus dipping sauce for just $9.99. Order online using promo code MORE. Donato's. Gotta love more.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everyone, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you roll with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Be sure to check out the Buckeye Game Day concert series presented by the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer before every home game this season outside of St. John Arena in Buckeye Fan Fest. Each week features a different artist on stage 2 hours before kickoff. Get on board and book your cruise today. Visit BuckeyeCruise.com. Go Buckeyes and beat cancer.
This is the Elk and Elk Report on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
And Jim, we talked about it a little bit last hour. You asked Ryan Day about this, but tell us about how the rotation you've seen on the offensive line and possible any movement on that 2 deep up front.
Well, it seems like when they're, if you have to go with third tackle, it's going to be Ian Moore right now. Obviously, Austin Sareveld and Phillip Daniels have started. And then I think, right now, if you have to go to another guard or center, that's Josh Padilla. He's filled into those positions. So, he's a guy that can play both center and has played right guard. And Ethan Oniawa is another guy that has played a little bit of right guard. And then at right tackle, Phillip Daniels with Justin Terry behind him. But Phillip Daniels will take a majority of the steps. Maybe this is the week or the time of the year where we'll see a 6 offensive linemen in there. You know what I mean? Put Padilla in there. put Tegra, put Daniels, and take out a tight end and just see if you can mash them a little bit.
Our 2 Deep Report was presented by the Injury Lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO.
Time now for Buckeye Roundtables from the Sidelines Report on the Ohio State Sports Network.
Boy, it seems like forever since Ohio State had a home game with more on what's been 3 of 4 away from home, plus a bye week added in. Here's Tyler Danberg.
Entering Week 7 at Wisconsin, Ohio State head coach Ryan Day and his team had the chance to end a crucial 4-game stretch on a high note.
It's important for us to recognize that this will be our 3rd game on the road in 4 games. This is a big, focus for us, this 4-week window, and we want to make sure we finish this thing strong.
The Buckeyes went 4-0 during the stretch and on the road snapped Washington's 22-game home win streak, bested number 17 Illinois, and shut out Wisconsin before the second bye week.
I think we're resilient. I think we've shown that we can be consistent, and we've handled the environment well. We've had composure, and I think that's all been positive. We've kind of won different ways, but we've been able to recover quick. We've kept the process. So we'll get to work during this bye week, figure out what we got to improve on, and go from there.
Day said going on the road is a different but great experience.
When we travel on the road, it's an opportunity to avoid distractions and just be with the team, whether it's on the bus, at the hotel, on the plane, and then, playing in the game, celebrating afterwards. When you go into a stadium like that, certainly we have great fans that travel, but, we're outnumbered. And so we kind of feel like, you have a really tight-knit group, and it can bring you together, and you have to focus a little bit more when you're on the road. So all those things are good for the growth of the team.
Senior defensive end Caden Curry believes the team continues to grow closer.
Yeah, I feel like every day we're getting closer as a team and just as our units, and we all, just growing that brotherhood. It's kind of always going to happen regardless. We're always so close with each other, and we're always just with each other that it's kind of bound to happen.
Curry said the nights before games have been his favorite part of the 3 road trips.
We have fun. We sometimes play some games, and we just kind of stay relaxed and just watching other games and just being around each other, honestly, is the biggest thing.
For junior wide receiver Carnell Tate, playing away from home channels a different mentality.
Whenever we're going on the road, it's always us against the world, and then we just got to be there for each other because that's all we got.
Off the field, Ohio State receivers have been able to stay connected.
The Whiteouts, we play a game each and every night, whether that's on the road or we here, so we play a little game, stay with each other, stay connected, and have a little fun.
The competition goes beyond the gridiron for the Whiteouts on the road, from playing card games to ordering food.
We really just play the game of Mafia. Then we also go around rotating about who's DoorDash and who's ordering food that week. So, yeah.
Redshirt freshman quarterback Julian Sayin, the one responsible for throwing to the wide receivers, threw for over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, and no picks during the 4-game stretch. But his favorite moment?
Sayin to pass. Looking, rolling on the right side of the Wisconsin 20. Sayin fires into the end zone. Caught. Ennis. Touchdown. Brandon Ennis.
Having Ennis in the back of the end zone was it's fresh in my mind, but it was awesome because Brandon's a guy he's a team captain, and he's a guy who does a lot of the dirty work for the offense. He'll go block a linebacker for us, and he's someone who's very versatile, and to see him make that play in the back of the end zone was awesome.
Skip, back to you.
You guys playing cards? We mentioned sorry. We mentioned how long it seemed since Ohio State's had a home game. It's interesting hearing you chat with Mark Pantoni on Thursday's coaches show about getting things lined up with the recruits. It's been a month since they've had a home game.
Yeah, and and we talked about how the firing of coaches early in the season is the way of the world right now. Well, these home games and waiting on start times is kind of the whole thing too, and we know, because of the recruiting aspect, trying to get people in, get families in, all of that, trying to make plans for people to come in is crazy. But when with the 2 buys, just one home game in October.
Yeah, that was a long month. Traveling on the road, got to know you guys a little bit more, spend out, hang out, had a lot of meals together. Skip, did your order ever come yet? No, but that's kind of what being on the road is all about. Finding ways to come together, and they went through that process. It was on the schedule. They understood that before the season started, and they came through with flying colors.
More on Ohio State and Penn State, plus the happenings from this past weekend involving coaches LSU and more as far as college football. Adam Rittenberg of ESPN.com will join us as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Whatever happens today, plan to conquer it with a fresh cup of True Brew coffee. True North Convenience Store's True Brew coffee is a hot, flavorful gourmet blend created from coffee beans from around the world. Our brew is truly perfect for any time of the day. During October and November, enter for a chance to win free coffee for a year. Check the True Rewards app for details or find the mobile app in your favorite app store. Offer valid October 7th through December 1st. True North Convenience Stores. Fast, friendly, clean.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Around here, it's all or nothing, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anybody, like the family-size Highlander and the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Now through November 3rd, get a new 25 Highlander or Grand Highlander with 4.75 APR financing, or you can get 5.75 APR financing on hybrid models with approved credit through TFS. Plus, you get 2 years no-cost maintenance. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Coach Cooper will be back with us coming up next week. In their last game, Ohio State limited to Wisconsin to 0 of 1 scoring on trips inside the 20. This defensive summary is brought to you by Anduril, whose mission is to transform U.S. military capabilities through advanced technology. Anduril, an official sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye Roundtable Insiders.
Joined for a few minutes now by Adam Rittenberg, ESPN.com. And Adam, let's begin, I guess, with LSU. I mean, in your mind, is this what the 12-team college football playoff has created? That, you know, if you're not in, schools are just going to make a change no matter how expensive the buyout is?
Well, I think that's a good point, and I think a lot of it actually stems back to Ohio State in the sense that Ohio State went all in for last year's team. They don't beat Michigan, but they go out and win the national championship. And I think a lot of other programs like a Penn State, like LSU, saw that model and said, we're going to try to do the same thing. And so then, yeah, once you're essentially eliminated, which LSU was with that third loss, there's no way they're making the playoff now. They talked about it and had some heated discussions, and it ended up with Brian Kelly being fired. So I do think that there's an effect, though, that, hey, 12 teams, how can we not make 12 teams, especially if we spend all this money? And then when that starts to crystallize for programs, they decide, hey, we're going to make a coaching change, even though that's a expensive and difficult thing to do.
I know it might be in the eyes of the beholder, Adam, but is the LSU job amongst those that are open now maybe the most coveted?
Yeah, Paul, I think it's right at the top. I think objectively, this is how I look at it. If you look at the top talent-producing states in this country, Louisiana is the only one, in my opinion, with only one Power 4 program. Georgia is the only SEC team in Georgia, but you got Georgia Tech, obviously Texas and Texas A&M. There's tons of schools in Texas. Florida's got a ton. Ohio's got Ohio State and Cincinnati. So this state where I'm still in right now is really a gold mine for recruits. And I think there's a lot of players who grow up here dreaming of playing for LSU, not necessarily a particular coach. So if you can come in there with the right approach, the right resources, great fan base. And listen, the last 3 coaches before Brian Kelly won national championships, and none of them were as accomplished as Brian Kelly when they walked in the door, including Nick Saban. So I think that's appealing to coaches. It's a very politicized place, much like Ohio State. You're located in the state capital. The governor is involved even in the decision to fire Brian Kelly. You got to deal with that. But I think if you have the right personality and background and so forth, there's no reason why you can't contend at the very highest level on a regular basis.
As of today, there's 2 jobs open in the Big Ten, UCLA and Penn State. Would a Pat Fitzgerald or maybe a John Gruden, be on any of those lists for some of those schools that I just talked about?
Yeah, I think Pat Fitzgerald is certainly an appealing candidate. I don't know for a job like Penn State, which is right at the top of the pecking order, but maybe a UCLA or some other Big Ten jobs come open. He's a guy that won a lot of games at Northwestern and was really consistent for a long time. He will, I think, have to answer what happened at the end. I mean, they were 4-20 in his last 2 years, really not good in 3 of his last 4 years. So I think explaining that and outlining a plan for his staff and what he's been doing the last three years is going to be really important. But you're given the number of jobs that are open or will open, and you look at Fitz's resume, I think he's certainly going to have opportunities.
Adam, what do you make of the wacky Big 12?
It's a lot of fun, right? I mean, and there's so many teams that are involved. No one's talking about Houston. Only 1 loss under second-year coach Willie Fritz, and BYU has been so impressive. With a true freshman quarterback who only got there, this spring with Bear Bachmeier, and certainly Texas Tech. We know what they're capable of. I know they've had some quarterback injuries that have held them back, but at full strength, that's a really a tough team to play. So it's that was always the wild card league, and there's still going to be a lot of twists and turns here down the stretch. But I actually thought coming out of last weekend that the Big 12, more so than the ACC, looked well positioned to have multiple teams in the college football playoff.
We're talking earlier about 4 Big Tens maybe making the playoffs. You got Ohio State, you got Penn State, or not Penn State. You got Indiana, you got Oregon as of right now. But Oregon plays Iowa at Kinnick in a couple of weeks. And, Iowa's right on the outside there. If there was a 2-loss team, would it still be who would be that 4th team?
Well, yeah, I think Oregon also has Washington, so they have some tough games here down the stretch, and I think certainly winning those 2 would secure their playoff spot. If they lose one and win the other, would that be a strong enough resume with still a good loss, even though it was a home loss to Indiana? I think that still looks like a team that probably belongs in the college football playoff, but I don't know if it's a guarantee. And part of that's that the overall strength of the Big Ten is a little bit down this year, and why it's important that teams like Michigan, I know you guys listeners don't want to hear it, they need to keep winning. Washington needs to keep winning so that those wins will resonate a little bit more for some of those other playoff contenders. I mean, it's all looking like Ohio State and Indiana will be meeting in the Big Ten championship game, but who else can work their way in the conversation? I'll tell you what, Iowa only has, they have 2 really close losses, one to Indiana and then one on the road in a rivalry game against Iowa State. If they can beat Oregon, suddenly Iowa becomes a pretty interesting playoff contender in my mind.
With a lot of football still to be played, Adam, do you have any feeling on Heisman candidates yet?
Ooh, I think it's like the head coaching carousel. It's hard to truly peg who's the leader. I think Ty Simpson, the quarterback at Alabama. Alabama players have had very little trouble winning this award, and to do what he did, especially if they can finish undefeated in SEC play, is really impressive. Fernando Mendoza at Indiana has been outstanding. I'm curious at Ohio State. There was so much buzz about Jeremiah Smith, and I think there still is, but you got to look at what Julian Sayin is doing, and the fact they're not really babying him anymore in the passing game and letting him attack downfield and put up some big numbers. And then there's players elsewhere, but this really looks like a Heisman race that still has a few twists in it before we get a resolution.
One quickie before we let you go, Adam. Ohio State, Penn State Saturday. Besides losing their quarterback, what do you point to as maybe the reason for Penn State's 4-game slide?
Well, I think overall offensively they haven't come anywhere near their capability. You talk to coaches, as I have, who have faced them, and they point to the talent level, and they really point to the talent level at running back with Kaytron Allen and Nicholas Singleton, and whether it's their usage together or how they're splitting carries, they're not maximizing what they can be as a running team. And even when Drew Aller was there, they weren't doing enough in the passing game. And then the defense has been up and down. But I would say primarily they just don't seem to have an identity right now on offense. And that's really held them back.
Adam Rittenberg, ESPN.com. Adam, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on, okay?
All right, thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
Ohio State, Penn State coming your way on Saturday. We will wrap things up tonight with some chalk talk as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Hey, Buckeye fans. Are you thinking of consolidating your debt with a home equity loan? Union Home Mortgage wants you to know the average homeowner has over $200,000 of home equity available, and they can help you get access to your money quickly and easily. Go to UHM.com to get your cash estimate today. You'll score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Calling all tailgaters. Learn more about the heart and soul of Ohio State with Game Day Taste and Traditions, presented by the Ohio Beef Council and Weber Grills. Dive into the rich history, iconic beef recipes perfect for your tailgate at home or outside of the shoe, and cherished customs that make our Buckeye community unique. Get yours now and celebrate Game Day with the spirit of Ohio State athletics. Find your Game Day Taste and Traditions guide at Buckeye Game Day Fan Fest and participating retailers.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
American Electric Power is a proud sponsor of Buckeyes Care.
Hi, I'm Janelle Coleman with American Electric Power. AP comes together with our communities to create a better future every day. Whether we serve, build, or simply share with others, we make Central Ohio brighter for our neighbors. Our collaboration with Buckeyes Care is another way we work to make the future boundless for all.
The fan, Ohio sports destination. listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everyone, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. We are proudly presented by Burger King. Visit your local BK restaurant to grab your $10 O-Fry-O bundle. That includes a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, 8-piece chicken nuggets, and a custom OSU crown. All for just $10 at your local Burger King.
Buckeye Roundtable, Chalk Talk.
Ohio State, Penn State, fellas, Saturday noon at Ohio Stadium. We'll begin, as we always do, with our delivery of the game. Who needs to deliver for Ohio State to get the W?
How about the defensive line to keep playing the way they have against the Penn State offense? It's had trouble, as Adam said, finding an identity. A young quarterback who will be making his second start and a backup quarterback who hasn't thrown a pass all year. So when he gets in there, you know it's going to be a run player. At least that's what they've shown so far. So maybe if the defensive line can play kind of like they did against Washington.
I want to see that passing game take off to the next level. I thought we saw that, on the road against Wisconsin. We've been seeing it get better and better each week. And, right now, if you got two receivers like we have and a tight end and backs that can catch it out of the backfield, why not turn Julian Sain loose? Let him throw that ball around and see what he can do.
We know Penn State has talent. We've talked about it throughout the show. Despite losing their starting quarterback and Drew Aller, what makes them dangerous on Saturday? I mean, they've dropped 4 straight, but by a combined only 13 points.
Those running backs, those 2 running backs, and they're phenomenal players in their own right. If they get going, they certainly, in Singleton and Allen, they can change a game all by themselves.
I agree. The running backs are the key to their offense. Ohio State's defense is going to have to sell out and stop the run and make sure you got some coverage. So that means maybe, Peyton Pierce, playing a little bit more because he's a guy that can make some tackles. Caleb Downs near the line of scrimmage so he can help shut down that run. But you got to get him 3rd and long because you get Ethan Grunkemeyer back there, a young quarterback, with crowd noise. You get him in 3rd and long, you can get some pressure, maybe get some turnovers, which Ohio State's defense has really stepped up in that category the last couple games when you look at Illinois and Wisconsin.
Who will be tested more, in your opinion, Ohio State's offense or Ohio State's defense?
Probably the offense will be tested by the Penn State defense. If they play, and they've got experience, you think of Dennis Sutton, he's a guy that's made big plays over his career. So they would probably be the group that would be tested more.
And I think Tony Rojas is still going to be out, the linebacker. But, Dom DeLuca has really stepped in. We saw him last year step up and make some big plays. Amari Campbell is their leading tackler at linebacker. Hey, when you think of Penn State, you got to think of those linebackers. That defensive line does a good job, led by Zane Duran and Denai Dennis Sutton, of kind of, steering everything and occupying blockers so those linebackers can run around and make plays. Got to make sure we're sound blocking at the line of scrimmage and get to that second level.
Special teams. Are we about ready to see an Ohio State kick return for a touchdown, either a punt or a kickoff?
Well, it's funny you bring that up, Skip, because Penn State, one of the things they've done well so far this year is block kicks.
Yep.
So trying to be sharp on that part of it would be crucial, but that would be great because, we used to always say, the last time a kick was returned, Jordan Hall, 2010 against Michigan. Last time a punt return, Caleb Downs snapped that baby last year. So it seems as though Brandon Ennis on those punt return situations is getting closer.
Punt returns would be nice, but if you don't want to see our special teams block punt, don't punt, right? In Ohio State, it's only punted 14 times. Just kick extra points and not field goals.
We are Tuesday next week for Buckeye Roundtable because Buckeye basketball season opener is next Monday night. Exhibition game winner yesterday over Ohio. Mr. Keels, how'd they look?
I thought that the new additions, especially the big guys, looked really good. Christoph Tilley and Brandon Knoll, and that was an area where Ohio State was very deficient last year. Watching the 2 big guys pass to one another, the way they moved around on the perimeter. And it also seems as though the Jake Diebler now has some depth this year that he didn't have last year. But maybe the biggest thing was the roster retention of keeping Bruce Thornton, John Mobley, and Devin Royal in scarlet and gray.
Lachey would have liked yesterday because they allowed a 6th foul yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, why not? They should do it all the time.
And we heard
experiment with that rule.
And we heard that Ohio University in their exhibition game of the Wright State, they just stopped counting them.
Yeah, well, they got a little good physical for the first one.
Last thing is that we lost a couple of Buckeyes this past week with the passing of Bob Maggs and Nick Mangold over the weekend. Jim, I know Maggs was a former teammate of yours.
Yeah, I played 3 years with Bobby, and just a great human being, great person, and unfortunately not with us any longer. Thoughts, obviously, to his family. His son Mason on the team. He's got a daughter and his wife. I knew his older brother too, Don Meggs, who played in the NFL. He played at Tulane. Both those guys, obviously, out of Youngstown Cardinal Mooney. And then Nick Mangold, we watched him play. I got to know his father, Vern Mangold, when he come to practice, and he liked to talk, and he was a good talker.
He came to a few roundtable shows.
Exactly. Got a chance to catch up with Vern and then, learn a lot about Nick, and obviously watched him play at a high level. Both those guys were all Big Ten centers. Obviously, Nick was an All-American and All-Pro with the New York Jets. But boy, it's 41. We're similar ages in this room. That's just tough to see.
I know, and obviously, Paul. I mean, people behind the scenes know, but Nick may not know that you lost your former broadcast partner last week down at Cincinnati, and Jim Kelly,
who had been doing games on the radio for over 30 years. He was an outstanding receiver both at Cincinnati and at Moeller, and just one of the most wonderful people I've ever known in my life.
Well, prayers, obviously, to everybody that we mentioned, all the families, and then some. All right, Buckeyes in the NFL to take us home, Jim.
Well, how about old Cam Hayward still getting it done in that god-ugly uniform that the Steelers wore last night? Cam's in his 15th year. He's 36 years old, but what a
great beard, too.
7 tackles in that ball game. That was good to see. J.K. Dobbins had a big game for the Broncos, 111 yards rushing. Chris Olave, Saints aren't doing much, but he ended up with 8 receptions in that game. How about the Patriots and Travion Henderson? You got the most yards that he's had in a while, 10 attempts for 75 yards. Joey Bosa with Buffalo came up with a sack. He seems like he does that week in and week out. And C.J. Stroud, rookie year, he went over 300 a lot. This year, not so much. This is his first one, 313 yards, 2 TDs as the Texans beat the 49ers.
Your Commanders in action tonight at Kansas City.
Getting ready to watch this. Yeah, I don't think they'll win, but I'll watch it.
They need Lachey in there.
That's right. They need the Hogs.
Hey, no Tickle the Lion this weekend, Skip.
None of that at all. Guys, great job tonight. Thanks. Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King has been brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, Window Nation, and by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. For our producer, Colin Behrens, and for Jim Lachey and Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick. As always, thanks for listening. From the Ohio State Sports Network, this is the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.